This conference will now be recorded.
So I've got Tony at Siemens, who's going to speak next week, and after that it's John Fryer from Crossfire, and then I've been doing some work on a modular HPC architecture from a packaging perspective. We've been doing some work with a group of us. I'll see if we don't have another speaker, I'll bring that in to the group, because at some point I'd like to make it an ODSA working group, if there's enough interest. And that's basically it. Does anybody have any ideas on other potential speakers through June and July? Marek, maybe it's time for a business group update at the end of the month or something? Just
Sure,
since it's
we can see how far we've gotten. Like, would definitely be a work in progress.
Yeah, just to see if we get more participants going in the effort. Let's see. Anybody else have any other thoughts on any opens, any ideas on who are other topics for our weekly? Anything your company is doing? I guess one of these is the 4th of July. Does anybody know which one's the 4th of July weekend? Or is it just an isolated day in the middle?
I think it's Tuesday this time.
So there's no long weekend? It's just a free day in the middle?
That's my understanding of it, yeah.
Okay.
It would be, yeah, it's the 29th.
Well, my company has one day off, Poppy. It's a 4-day weekend for us.
Okay, but it's a Monday, right? So
Yeah, we get Monday and the Tuesday.
Okay. And the Tuesday. So I guess my question is, should we cancel on 6:30 and just resume on 7/7 after? Or honestly, if today is any guide, if people are going to take the whole week off, from what I can see. Any other topics anybody can think of? Nick, anybody else you can think of, or Michael, Kash, any work you're doing? Alan's been kind enough to speak already. Trent, anything in your company?
Sorry, just joined, Poppy. Just catching up here.
It's an open meeting because we don't. Well, A, we don't have much of a quorum today, and B, the schedule. I had a scheduled speaker who had a conflict, and so I'm sort of just getting organized in terms of
See.
in terms of finding speakers for June and July, and any other topics to cover. Any thoughts? Any work group? I think at I think 7/14 or something like that. We should be. That's about a month from now, right? Yeah. That should be ready by then, is my hope. Any other topics come to mind for anyone?
I guess it may not be enough as a topic, but I was curious if you could give an update on what you had discussed last Tuesday, I guess, with this ad hoc group on the funding opportunities for the CHIPS Act, if anything came out of that.
I can do that. I can do that right now. That was going to be the second thing I was going to cover.
Okay.
Any other work group making progress? I think we can get to the PAP. Oh, right. Okay. So I know the two other topics I wanted to cover. Okay.
The link layer, Poppy, is what we've been building up in the document there.
Yeah, that's this one I have slotted here. Control plane link
okay,
layer.
yeah, perfect.
Let me call it control path. Control plane will give people a heart attack.
Yeah, it makes more sense to me now too. Control path.
Control plane will send people into a tizzy. All right. I'm going to aim for the aim for 7/14 for the control path link layer spec. Anything else you can think of? Quinn, we've got a light turnout today, so I'm just doing opens and any topics anybody has in mind. So if anyone, I'm collecting speakers for June and July.
Okay.
So if you have anybody, please send them my way, or if you want to speak on something, please either tell me now or get back to me by email.
Okay, let me think about that.
Nick, did we lose Nick already? I think so. Okay. Okay, so then on to my other two topics, other three topics in rapid order. One is the OCP Global Summit call for papers is out, and hopefully you received the email that I sent on call for submissions. So please consider submitting a paper, and today is the deadline if you want to send something for hip chips in Florida. So those are two things. Then the second item about the Global Summit is that we're trying to build a section of the demo floor devoted to chiplets. And so highlighting any chiplet products that demonstrate something about the open economy, open interfaces, open specifications, open products, whatever. So if you have a product or a prototype, a company prototype that's based on open interfaces for die-to-die, or uses open software product or tooling that supports open interfaces, please get ping me or Cliff. We want to put a demo section together on the floor. So the idea, the intent will be to have a section at the OCP Global Summit, a demo floor which is pretty big and gets a lot of traffic, but focus exclusively on chiplets. Any questions about any of those?
I mean, sounds like a good idea.
Yeah, I think there are a few companies which have products, so I think we can get something going. And it's if there's more that we're not aware of, I'd like to bring as many as we can under the tent, so to speak, or into the tent. Okay, that gets me to the last thing I wanted to. This is the CHIPS Act discussion we had last week. Quinn, do you want to do a summary since I've been doing all the talking? You were there?
No, I'll let you cover it if you don't mind.
Ah, damn you. All right. Well, Alan was here too. Oh, Alan, I forgot you attended too. So please speak up. I'm not a fan of me doing all the talking at our meetings. And Trent. So I think the sort of top level thing I walked away with was it's going to be hard for us to sort of mount an independent effort, but whether we could plug into an existing effort in some fashion. And one of the highlights of what it is Siemens, which is an active participant in CDX, already has like a bunch of government grants in the space around CDX. So that's why I'm getting Tony next week to talk about this. And so maybe look into one of these tech coalitions, tech innovation hubs, and see whether we can partner with them. The deadline is apparently the first phase one deadline is August 15th. So it's going to be tight, and maybe it's going to be it's a fairly hefty challenge, but we can see. And one idea that I really liked, which I thought is to sort of hang our hat on what I would either say open source, or I would say permissive licensing, easy licensing, IP silicon designs, data sets, and models. That seems to be sort of aligned with where we are as a group. And sort of find a way to engage with these other groups based on what our strength is, which is really the ability to bring a coalition of big and small companies into one action, right? So the step we agreed to, look, we even had a thing of go back to the Friday meeting. So with a summary of this meeting, highlight what we're doing with the 3DK effort, which we're doing next Friday. and then find a way to get a picture of what's going on. I think where I'm going to reach out to a couple of people at NIST to see how somebody like us can get engaged. And then John Fryer is going off to see if he can dig up some information about a couple of tech centers, and see how we align ourselves with them. Quinn, I assume you're going to be doing some digging on any potential tech centers as well.
Yes.
So that's where we are, Marek. And
I think that's where we also want this larger crowd, anyone who's aware, because I think it would be good for us to participate, even if we're not, say, getting any material support, just for us to have our voice there. So I think we're a relatively easy person to bring in.
Yeah, I think I captured your basic sentiment of where do we can we influence and advise and join these efforts and become an advisory group, and that's sort of the lower end of the participation threshold activity.
Maybe at the risk of getting into too much detail, but like roughly under what umbrella do all these tech centers fall in terms of like funding from the, I assume this is like funding from the CHIPS Act. Like I'm not sure if this is NSTC oriented or like one of the other projects.
So there's apparently two kinds of funding. One is for a National Semiconductor Technology Center, and the second is for a National Packaging Center.
Yeah.
And I think most of the activities that I know of are going after the semiconductor funding.
Okay, because I think like my understanding was that there was a white paper published by the NSTC group about like ideas of what they want to do, but it sounds like it's not even like 100% clear how this is all going to shake out. So that's why I'm a little confused about the there seem to be some very specific deadlines, so that if there are programs already underway, even aside from NSTC.
Well, so there's several, okay, here's my understanding of the situation. There's several different tranches of government funding. One from DARPA, one from the DoD, which I guess DARPA is part of the DoD, but it's generally considered a different source of funding. And then this CHIPS Act money is yet to be unrolled, so to speak, right? But there have been several broad coalitions formed. IBM has got one, and so Arvind from IBM is able to come and talk to us about their coalition probably in 2 or 3 weeks. So the idea is the intent is that we can we at least find out what they're up to and see whether we can participate. The only deadline where I'm aware of right now is this 8/15 deadline for a tech hub.
Okay.
So
but that may not be a hard deadline for us because we're not really asking for money. If there are tech hubs that win or winners, right, I think even after that date, at any point, we could potentially join in.
Correct. So in some sense, it may make sense to just sort of go and engage with people now, even if it's late, just to say, hey, we're here, we can help, so to speak.
Okay, that clarifies it a bit. Thanks.
And if anyone knows, Applied Materials is bidding for a tech center in Silicon Valley here, focused on chiplets. I don't know anyone in that organization, but if anyone has a good contact there.
Well, I've reached out, and hopefully it's a process of calendaring a meeting, but I think we can get something there. I think. And Alan, anything you want to add, or Trent?
Only that what I suggested in terms of the larger substrate, obviously the POC efforts have been within a package, right? So just what I presented on a few weeks ago, I guess, Pappy. Does that make sense?
Gone. Hey, Marek, what's that white paper you're talking about? You said there's some white paper which talked about it.
Yeah, there is the NSTC has published something. Let me see if I can dig this up. Where they basically described, like, I'm not sure if like, I think this is all like also available online, but like they're talking about how they want to set up an independent group that is leading it. So I think there was initially a question of how this is going to go, if it's and I think now they're like it's going to be administered by a group like that has its own like CTO and is administering the funding and like doing the project or like saying what projects will or what projects they're looking for. But all of this is going to take some time. And in this paper, they just talked about the structure that they envision, and they did mention chiplets for a small section. So let me see if I can find this and I'll post the link.
Got it. Okay. Trent, anything?
No, not from our perspective. I mean, we're really still not seeing any opportunities right now, at least for like the open source chiplets and all of our work is really did on our internal interface.
Got it.
Nice. I just posted that link on the website.
Oh,
in the
right.
chat.
Okay. Let me copy it in the minutes. Okay. Thanks, Marek.
Sure.
That's roughly where we're at. So Michael or Kash, or if you guys have any other questions, or either Michael Byrne or Michael Choi.
Nothing from me. Thank you.
I'm good, thank you.
All right. So in that case, if you have any speakers, I think I'm going to do. There's a couple of other groups which are due an update, which I'll plug in. But ideally, I'd also like to have a decent mix of external speakers. So if you have anybody from your company, Marek or Trent or Michael, the two Michaels, it would be great to have people from your company, sort of your companies, sort of present on what they're seeing at chiplets, etc.
I can't think of anyone right now, but I'll let you know if there's any opportunity.
Awesome. And Michael, go ahead.
I would be rowing in behind Marek if the two of us work together. So
Okay.
Marek would be the leader on this aspect.
Trent or Michael Choi, anybody you have in mind? Actually, Michael, if you can get somebody to talk on HBM, that would be, I don't know if that's for your part of Samsung or a different part of Samsung, but that would actually be pretty nice if we can get somebody to speak on HBM.
Yeah, let me check on that. Actually, 2 weeks back, I think Samsung Foundry updated about what is going on in Samsung on the chiplet. So
okay.
Anyway, yeah, let me check with the HBM side.
Yeah.
Okay.
It would actually be it would actually be helpful more than anything else.
Okay. Yeah.
Thank you.
Check it. Yeah. Thank you.
Hey Trent, you're saying?
Are you able to hear me?
Oh, now I'm able to hear you. Yes.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I was just transitioning to my vehicle and it was not working. Yeah, let me see if I can find somebody from our automotive processor architecture team. Maybe can give a talk on really what we see the needs are, for chiplets in that arena, because it's quite a bit different from the high performance compute that a lot of people are talking about, and that's why we're really struggling to. So I think it might be good if we can give more of a description of what might fit better for us. So let me see if I can find somebody. From that
Perfect.
perspective.
Thank you. Gosh, anybody from your travels from that that you recommend reaching out to?
No, to be honest, I haven't had much time to chase the ChipSec stuff. I think it would be. I've just assumed it's going to take forever.
No, I'm
And
talking
the
about
money's-
I'm talking about speakers, the potential speakers. Any company?
Not that comes directly to mind at the moment. No.
Okay.
But I'll think about it and I'll ping you. All right.
All right. Then in that case, guys, I think I've covered everything. If anybody has any opens, Alan.
Just one there in terms of who could present. Is Elian presented before?
Ramin, right? Good point.
They announced their new link, or they were talking about it on LinkedIn.
Yeah. Okay. That's a great point. Do you want to reach out? Do you know them, or do you want me to reach out? I'm asking.
I've actually been pinging Ramin recently, so I'm speaking to them next week. So yeah, I can ask them when I speak to them.
Perfect. Thank you. That's a great idea. Should have thought. It's very nice. So let me just mark down before I let everybody go. We're thinking Elian, potentially NXP, HBM, and do we say something else?
It's 1A in Elian.
Oh, it's not 2? Oh yeah, you're right. NXP, is there somebody I'm missing? I thought we were thinking of 4 different NXP. Never mind. All right, at least I'm glad I wrote the ones I remembered down then. Well, on that bright note, I'll let everybody go at least reclaim a half an hour of their Friday.